Hello, guys. Welcome to good. Just say I can hear you. Everything is good, and I will also be aware of the fact that you can hear me. All right. Please just drop a comment on the comment section and say, "Yeah, I can hear you," just so that we can be sure that you can hear us. All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Extending pleasantries to everyone that we can see here on the comment section. So I have here Joy. Yeah, Joy, welcome. Good to have you here. I have Tambari. Yeah, good to have you here, Tambari. Opeyemi, good to have you as well. Noella, good to have you here. Christy, good to have you here. Philemon, good to have you here. Winner, good to have you here. Akon, good to have you here. Esther, we're glad to have you here. Glory, good to have you here. Okay, so I think I'm back. So sorry. Uh, can anyone hear me now? Okay, great,
Yes,
great.
okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, sorry about the glitch there. So yeah, I was basically trying to greet everyone here, right? So I think I stopped at Elion. Uh, okay, not there. Where did I stop? I stopped at Ukbayami. Okay, good to have you here. Noella, Christy, Philemon, good to have you here. Winner, good to have you here. Akon, yes, I greeted you before. Good to have you here. Esther, okay, great. So thank you very much to Tambari, to Joy for saying that they can actually get to hear me very well. I'm really excited to have your engagement. All right. So thank you very much. So today is going to be like very, very interesting. We're going to be having a webinar for the Girls into Tech training. All right. And before we continue, I would like you to just like drop where you are connecting from. So if I told you like wherever you're connecting from, I would like you to just drop it as a comment. Say I'm connecting from New York, connecting from USA, connecting from Abuja, Lagos, Ibadan. Anywhere you're commenting from, you could just like drop it on the comment section, just so that we know where you're, joining us from. So just drop it on the group, on the comment section here, and I'll be very happy to just like show it to everyone here. All right, Amaka, good to have you here. Adetomi, good to have you here. Uh, True Talk with Mimi, good to have you here. Imam, it's good to have you here. Anoye, good to have you here. Joy, good to have you here. Olaseni, good to have you here. All right, Zainab, good to have you here. Okay, it's good to have everyone here. Uh, some persons are saying that they cannot hear, like there are no sounds. I believe that was in the previous glitch, so I believe you can like properly hear me now. All right, great, great. It's good to have everyone here. All right, wow, it's good to have Olayemi here from the US. Good to have you here. Opeyemi from Lagos, Nigeria. Oliha from Nigeria as well. Philemon from Adamawa. Precious from Benin. Catherine from Lagos, Nigeria. MM is connecting from Abuja. True Talk is connecting from Lagos, Nigeria. Chisom is connecting from Uyo. Really, really good to have everyone here. Charity is connecting from Owerri. Uh, Divine is connecting from Abia State. Tambari is connecting from Port Harcourt, Nigeria. We have Naomi connecting from Lagos. We have Karabo connecting from South Africa. Former Wisdom is connecting from Lagos. Nuela from Nigeria. We have lots of people here connecting from different parts of the world. Different parts of the world. It's super exciting to have everyone here. Like super, super excited to have everyone here. All right. So before we begin, all right. So I would like to mention that this particular session is the webinar for the Girls into Tech training program. And the people that you see here on the screen, these are the ladies and the gentlemen that actually came together to create this particular training. All right. So just to give you some sort of background on all of this, right? So when it comes to the African tech ecosystem, right, we have very few number of females who are, actively participating in, learning how to use different technologies to build their lives. There are very few women and few girls who are, actively getting to learn tech skills that will change their lives, right? And that's where we, tap some inspiration from to create this program. And then also on the side, right, on this particular YouTube channel, right? So where people get to learn how to build mobile and web applications without writing codes. The statistics shows that only 9% of the people that watch the tutorials, which are offered for free on this channel, are females. The rest, the remaining 91%, are males. So this was one of the foundations that we saw, and we're like, okay, yes, let's use this few facts here and there, and then create this program. All right, so I would like to first of all, before I continue, I would like to introduce myself, and then from there, I will provide opportunities for the other founders of this project to introduce themselves. So first of all, my name is David Orok, and the founder of Illspace and No Code Africa, and I'm a tech entrepreneur. I'm someone who is always excited to use technology to solve problems inherent in the African ecosystem. Right, I'm currently a second year master's student studying technological entrepreneurship at Innopolis University, Russia. And I've always been super, super excited and, interested in making sure that lots of people get to learn different tech skills that can actually be seen in the program called No Code Africa, where I personally teach early stage startup founders, entrepreneurs, and students how to build mobile and web applications without writing a single line of code. And I think that's where I'm going to stop with the introduction of myself. I would like to extend the whole introduction to my co-host, and that's Ruth. Ruth, so the floor is yours.
Hi guys. Thank you, David, for that interesting introduction about yourself. Um, Welcome once again to Break Into Tech webinar for girls. and I'm super excited to be your mini host, not like your full host for this event. And I really hope that at the end of this training, everyone benefits, and it is really beneficial to not just the attendees but also the hosts. Um, so before any other thing, I would just want to also introduce myself and give room for the other um, speakers or hosts right here to introduce themselves. So my name is Ruth Oye. A marketing professional. I'm currently studying marketing at the University of Bradford in the United Kingdom. This is my last semester, so I'm almost done. And by the end of the year, I'll be saying I mastered marketing. Yeah. So I really enjoy social media, content writing, and marketing as a whole. However, I'm more tilted towards digital marketing as opposed to traditional marketing. But it is not possible to know just one aspect. You must have an idea of every aspect of marketing. So basically, during the course of the sessions, and those that are interested in digital marketing or social media marketing, I hope we get to meet one on one and also discuss in depth what marketing or social media marketing is all about. So, Justina, up to you. Can you kindly introduce yourself?
Okay, hi everyone. I'm super happy to, have you all today. Right. Thank you, Ruth. So my name is Justina Anya. Right. I'm a UI UX designer, product designer, and also a product manager. So I am really super passionate about building digital products that actually solve user problems, drive business goal, and all the cool stuff around it. Right. So I look forward to meeting you all in the course and building great digital products and improving the experience of products out there, right? So, however, I'm also an MD of a product, right? We called Wakati, right? So we'll be launching soon, and all the cool stuff. So I'm really happy to share my knowledge and experience with you all throughout this course, and let's do great things together. So, Toby, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Justina. My name is Toby, and I currently live in the UK. I work as a front-end web developer and a digital marketing executive. My company creates sensors and different type of environmental monitoring instruments. And yeah, so I've been doing this for over 2 years now, and throughout the course of this program, I would be taking you or I'll be teaching you how to utilize Bootstrap for web development, and as well as we are going to be going into the basics of SEO. Over.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Toby, for the introduction. Thank you very much to Ruth. Thank you very much to Justina. Okay, so we're not going to talk too much, right? So we're going to be focusing on why we are here, all right? So I like to tell stories, and I'm going to just like briefly give you another, like maybe just say what I said before in a different way. All right, so I studied chemical engineering at the University of Uyo, Nigeria, and I graduated in 2017. And after finishing, I wasn't able to get a job as a chemical engineer, you see. So, but one of the things that saved me at the time was the fact that I got to learn tech skills. I started by learning 3D modeling and animation. I then ventured into graphic design. And then later on, when I started a startup called Space, I discovered that I needed to learn marketing, digital marketing to be specific, so that it can actually help me sell products. And so in the long run, looking at how things have been with me, right? Because I know that the categories of people that have joined this session, we have students here, we have graduates here, we have professionals here who just want to like branch into tech and do something really amazing with their lives. So you might be asking yourself, is this really the right thing for me to do at this point of my life? So if I told you're a student, this is one of the best things for you to do for yourself, Because if you're waiting and thinking, oh, okay, when I finish the program I'm studying in the university, I will get a job immediately after graduation or immediately after doing NYSC, right? That might not be the case for you. It might be true, it might be true for some people, but it might not be true in all cases, right? Some of us have to struggle a bit, right? You might actually finish and you don't have a job. And that's where getting a tech skill comes into play. And you might be asking yourself, okay, so I'm in school, I might feel distracted. I wouldn't want to, dive into learning anything apart from my academic stuff. I just want to focus in school. There is actually time for every single thing. You can dedicate a few number of hours in a day or in a week to actually just learning skills, because these skills, they will be your lifesaver immediately after you're done with school, and they might even be your lifesaver while in school in case something happens to your current source of income that takes care of your school fees. Okay, so that's why you need to like take this session and take this training that we're about starting very seriously. And the webinar here that will be happening today, I think in the next 12 minutes, we're going to be having the first speaker who will come to speak with us, and just, try to make your mind get connected to the whole essence of this particular project, right? So what I just want you to do is, breathe in and then breathe out, and just know that you're doing one of the best things that you should do for yourself this year. And it's actually one of the best things to do at the beginning of a year. All right. So I will hand over this particular session now back to Ruth. Ruth, it's over to you.
I thank you so much, David. So yeah, we have just approximately 10 minutes for the next speaker to come, or for the our first speaker for today to come on board. So let's say we are the host, then we're expecting some professionals in the field to just educate us and tell us the reason why you need to learn a tech skill. Like I'm sure most of us have heard this saying that tech is the new oil money, and I'm sure everyone at some point wants to touch oil money. Those from Nigeria will understand what I'm trying to say. Everybody wants to touch that type of money. And since we know tech is the new oil money, almost everyone is trying to go into tech. But how do you go about it? Why tech? Or why should you have a tech skill? For me, basically, I'll use myself as an example. Just like David said, I graduated earlier, 2015, and I don't like to use the word jobless, but that's just the meaning. I was jobless for say 4 years, and until 2019 when I decided to take up a skill in digital marketing, and that was just the breaking point for me. That was just like my miracle in quotes, because the moment I took up that skill, 2 months after, I got an internship role in one of the biggest creative agency in Lagos then, and it's just been up and up and up for me until I started. When I left Nigeria, I was like the brand marketing manager for a fintech, and we know when you hear people work in fintech, I'm sure you know what it means. They are working in fintech, yeah. So it's been like that, and currently I work with Bradford Council as their ATR marketing campaign officer. And I'm still a student, but I got that job. When I tell people that, oh, this is what I do, and like, oh, because we know students basically they just have to survive on menial jobs, but I'm not doing that. Why? Because um, I developed myself in digital marketing and in marketing in general. So it's paved way. After my interview, they had to call me like 2 weeks after and say, "Oh, are you still available to pick up the role? Sorry for taking time to get back to you." And that's just because I took up a skill in tech, and that's digital marketing or marketing, whichever one you want to call. So basically, it is very important to take a tech skill. And just before we continue, I would just want us in the comment section to just tell us or type the type of the skill you want to acquire from this session. It could be one, it could be more, but we just want to see and just to know that we are sure of why we are here, and not just because other people are talking about tech. If you convince as to what skill you want to learn, just kindly put it in the comment section. So yeah, I can see some people already commenting, and I can see UI UX design, web development. Oh, Ruth Charles, digital marketing, that's nice. at some point would meet. And yeah, that's my namesake. So while you do that, I would also want Justina to just tell us how she stumbled upon tech, because most of us are Nigerians, and that means that there was nothing like digital marketing when most of us went to school, or UI UX as a course when we were in school then. But I think maybe now some universities are already putting that in their curriculum. But as at when most of us graduated, I'm not sure there was anything like that. So Justina, how did you stumbled upon UI UX?
Okay, so it was in 2020, 2020, yeah. Yeah. So I was during the whole pandemic thing, I was confused on what to do. Then I was doing a business, right? I was just doing a really big business in school to actually, help myself and pay my bills, right? So while I was doing that during the pandemic, and with because then I was based in Imo State, right? So there was this no movement thing, everything was just choked up, right? I was confused, I didn't know what to do, and that was when I found myself in tech. I started looking for a tech skills, and it was difficult knowing how to navigate because there is like so much to know. There is web, there is UI, UX, there is digital marketing. So I was confused at the point, but I found out that I'm someone who I like to solve problems, and UI, I just kind of picked interest in UI UX design, right? And seeing people talk about it, how amazing it is, and of course the oil money involved in tech. So I had to, I started learning, right? I started learning, and that is it, because even what I studied in school, I'm not practicing, and I haven't even been able to, get any hiring with that. But since I graduated in 2021, right? I actually got a job immediately I finished school, right? I got an internship as a UI UX designer in Abuja, right? And from there, it's been growth and growth and growth from there. So I can say it's been an amazing, amazing, amazing journey. Like I don't regret every minute I spent getting into tech. I don't regret any minute I spent learning UI UX design or learning tech, right? So it's been an amazing, um, like it's the best decision I've made in my life. So that has been my journey till now, right? So I've been going from an intern to a UI UX designer to a lead to a product manager and to where I am currently. So it's actually an amazing journey for me.
That's
So I
nice. That's nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
So I
thank
think,
you very.
yeah, thank you very much. I'll hand it over to Ruth.
All right, thank you, and apologies for that. Thank you so much, Justina, for sharing that amazing experience. So while people were at home complaining about the lockdown, people were maximizing that period, and Justina is just one of them. Toby, do you want to tell us how you stumbled into tech? Your story is really inspiring. When I came across your profile, you're a developer and you're also a digital marketer. I don't know
I know.
how.
Yeah,
So
I know,
yeah,
right?
can you tell us how?
Yeah, I think I am one of those guys who are, well, who is out there, and one of those guys that you probably call the jack of all trades. But the actual full meaning of that is like, the jack of all trade might not actually be the master of one, but it's still better than he's still better than the master of one. I think that's the actual full meaning that most people don't know. And why I think this is, personally for me, why I think my expertise and skill set is kind of like good is because you find out like most days there are several companies out there that really don't know how to navigate in the digital space. um like take for example where I work. There are a lot of people in there, of course, but there are just few number of young people there who actually know how to navigate in the digital space. So for companies like that, and then someone like me, having expertise in terms of like digital marketing and knowing how to code, really helps companies like that, because someone like me can actually wear multiple hats and help out in different space. It just kind of like give me that flexibility. But talking about my story, I think my story actually started in 2017 when I finished my first my undergraduate degree. Yeah, so I finished uni like every other person, and I started asking myself like, okay, so uni is done. What is next? I was in Nigeria as at that time. It is at that time at that point in time in life where you start asking yourself questions like, what is next? How do I get a job? And the reality of things is like, it's the employment is not really available in Nigeria if we are going to be honest to each other. So I listen to my parents. That's the time that your parents would advise you like, oh, come on, you need to learn something or the other. So yeah, my uncles even suggested learning tailoring. Someone suggested learning barbing. Someone suggested learning barbing, and so different kind of funny suggestions. But to myself, I know these things are good, but it would not take me far. So I opted for web development, and then I enrolled in a school called Data Skills in Surulere, Surulere, Lagos. It was really a good school. It was a whole building, and then, they offered different classes of tech as at that time in 2017. So I enrolled, and then I started learning web development. And day in day out, the instructors were not so great. You come in, and then no, I mean the school was actually really good. It was a good school for anyone that wants to learn tech. But as at that time, I was not really enjoying the classes because I could not. I was so much passionate, but I was not getting that the same level of passion from the teacher. But however, that was where my journey started. And then I started learning there, in person. And then learning in person, I was not really getting what I want. Then I went online, looking at several resources, and ever since then, I've never really just stopped learning, and then I continued learning. So then I moved to the UK for my master's degree. And as well, I got lots of advice from several people. And for my first master's degree, I went to study international management. I knew deep down in myself like um but however, I finished that. And after uni, there were lots of opportunities, lots of job employment in the UK. But my expertise does not really fit in that role, like project management as at that time, in or as at that point in my life. So I thought like, okay, so I need something else to do. And then I went again for another master's degree, and then this time around it was in digital marketing. So so I went in to study digital marketing, and I enjoyed it. And as soon as I finished, not up to a month, I got a job. And now I work as a marketing executive, and as a web developer, as a front end web developer at the same time, just because I have that technical skills. But in recent time, I'm kind of like slowly transitioning away from marketing and more into web development. And with the look of things, that is what I'm going to be doing full time. And in that will be my focus full time for the year. So for anyone that wants to learn something new in 2024, barbing, hairdressing, different kind of skills, it is good. But the truth is, those things might not really take you as far as you want to go in life. So this is a good platform, Girls into Tech. As much as we are focused on empowering women, and then getting more women into tech, because the stats is low, obviously, in Nigeria. But there are men out there as well. David is a guy, is a man. I'm a man. um, yeah, before we started this, I was saying to myself, because there are lots of initiatives like this one out there. Women into tech, blah blah blah. Okay, what about the guys then? Yeah, we know the start is low. What about the guys? So although our platform is targeted towards women and girls, getting more females into the industry, we're pretty much open to anyone that wants to learn. Like if you want to learn, this is the platform for you. And as you can see, there are several routes as well. There's UX UI, there's digital marketing, there's um, development with coding and no coding. So this is somewhere you can actually start from. And although the program is just going to last for 3 weeks, but it's a lifelong mentorship that we will offer you. It's going to be a community after this program. You have the community to support you throughout your learning journey, and even when you want to start up maybe as an entrepreneur or into freelancing or seeking jobs, we are always going to be there to support you. So that's my learning journey. That's how far I came, and then I hope you've been able to learn a thing of or two from what I just said. And yeah, I really look forward to having you in the class as well. So over to you, Ruth.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toby, for that. That's such a very inspiring story. Two masters from the United Kingdom.
Yeah, I
That's
know,
a whole
right?
lot. Yeah. So back to you, David. Why are you doing this? Like, why do you decide to teach girls about
O-
no code? Because I'm really interested in that. So I want to be
Okay.
like Toby. Honestly, I want to learn two skills or have two skills. So please, why are you doing this?
Okay, so I will try to, make mine really fast because we have our first speaker already with us. So, why am I doing this? So, as soon as I got to Russia to study masters in technological entrepreneurship, I was introduced to a course called No Code Development, and I was introduced to other courses too. Yeah, but that particular one was very interesting to me because I never knew it was possible to build mobile applications without writing codes. Well, I knew it was possible to build web applications without writing codes using WordPress, right? But I didn't know it was possible to build mobile applications that can run on your mobile phone and even iOS devices without writing a single line of code. So I now remembered what happened in 2021. Yeah, when I had to take a loan of about 500,000 there to pay a traditional software developer to build a marketplace for ill space. And I, knowing too well that startups are experiments, right? You shouldn't spend so much money trying to test the experiment. But I had gone ahead to go and take a loan of 500,000 there, and then use it in building a marketplace that I wasn't even sure whether it was going to succeed. So when I was introduced to no code development, you could build mobile applications without writing codes. You could turn your idea into an MVP with speed without spending a dime, right? I was so excited about it, and I was like, I'm going to learn it so well, and I'm going to teach it to so many people. And so I created the channel for No Code Africa, right, which is a channel that you're currently on, and then I have been teaching for about 10 months. No, not 10 months. Sorry, that's old. So I've been teaching for about 12 months, a year plus now, on YouTube, teaching people how to build mobile applications. Not just people, Africans, entrepreneurs, students, graduates, people how to build mobile applications and web applications without writing codes, helping them turn their ideas into MVPs without spending a dime because all of that is done for free. So for me, it is because of the fact that it is very expensive to move your idea from just idea stage to MVP. If I told you you're a startup, you're an entrepreneur here, right? And also another reason why I'm doing this is because I want to see more people, right? I want to see more people, particularly females, girls into tech, right? I want to see more females learn technology, learn how to use technology to build themselves so that they can actually get to walk beyond borders and not depend on their certifications and qualifications, which might not even get them a job, right? Because for me, just like Ruth said, was it Ruth? Yeah, I think she mentioned that I wasn't able to get a job as a chemical engineer, right? I wasn't able to get a job as a chemical engineer, even with my second class upper honors, right? I tried, I applied everywhere, I couldn't get an invitation for interview. That's how bad it was. And if at all I had relied on that so well, locked in myself, I'm like, man, this is it. If it's not this, it's nothing else. Then I would have wasted so much of time. And so jumping into tech changed my life. Like jumping into tech, learning a skill improving myself, change my life. And that's the same thing that I want to happen to everyone else that is part of this program. Thank you very much.
So much. So after the first speaker, I would come back to the rest hosts. Our first speaker is here already, and David and Toby will be anchoring the session. So I'll just leave it up to them to continue from where I stop. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So before we start fully, let me push in Oladimeji into this session, right? I hope I didn't murder your name, please. Yeah, it's really good to have you here. Like super, super good to have you here. Can you hear me? Oladimeji. You will have to like unmute your microphone because I can see here it's still muted. Can you hear me? Okay, so I think please just say something. Okay, I think your microphone, you might have to check your microphone a bit. It's not really producing sound.
Sure. It's actually working. So,
Uh, Toby, can you hear him properly, or is it from my end?
No, it's not just from your hand, David. I think we can see him now, but it's just the mic.
Yeah, yeah. The mic. I think it has some challenge. Can you say something again?
can you know?
Yeah, I think it's a bit better. Yeah, but it's still it has this vibrated frequency sound somehow like that.
All right. So whilst Oladimeji is away and he's fixing his mic, I think I just want to say a few things about him. Personally, for me, I have been a follower of Oladimeji on Instagram, and not just Instagram, his other platforms as well. Um, he's a creative. He's someone that you lot you know already know anyway. And yeah, I watched him over time. Like why I think like his story and his legacy is really interesting is because I watched him over time. I watched him build himself over time. I've been following him, and then I can clearly see like he's resilient, and he actually built his platform over time to who he is right now. Every other time, and his content is always like inspiring for people who like want to get into tech. And we also have a platform these days called the Creative Foundry, and then this platform is for creatives, helping creatives. It is a community for creatives. Oladimeji, thanks for joining us again. Now that you're here with us again, I would just like to.
I hope you guys can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you well now.
All right, great.
Yeah, so over to you. Can you just please tell us a few things about yourself?
Okay. So my name is Oladimeji Ajegbile. Most people call me the introvert creative, which I
Yeah.
mean is a long time ago. Now I'm not so much an introvert.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, uh, so I'm a Christian. Um, just became a father, and
Congratulations.
I mainly work in service design, although I have a background in architecture and also, exploring entrepreneurship while still being a creator. So it's like a jack of all trades, trying to be a master of a few. Yeah, so that's like a nutshell about me.
Yeah, thank you, Oladimeji. Yeah, just like you said, I think one of the things that I got to learn about you earlier. It's your story of being an introvert because personally for me as well, I would say I'm an introvert, and in terms of like that personality, we kind of like have that in common, which is why
Uh, can you guys still hear him?
how how have you been able to like navigate and survive in the tech space, with your personality. So, you said before now, people know you as an introvert. And, to
Yeah.
think of like, introverts, it's not really easy for someone who is like an introvert to like network in the industry, in the tech space. It's, meeting people and all of that, like, so how did you survive? How did you manage to build your network, with that type of personality?
So I think it's key to like spotlight this stereotype that introverts can speak in public or are not people who can build anything. For a fact, I mean, a good number of the world leaders are introverts, and it just gives this, comfort or this assurance that if you think you are one, then you're able to do whatever it is you really want to do. The only thing there would be having to break out of certain things you feel, you're confined to. But for me, it came from a place of curiosity. I really wanted to explore beyond where I was. Not just being an introvert, being an architect. All I knew was buildings, and I knew that there was a lot more than just buildings. So it sort of pushed me to want to explore more. And in the process of doing that, the best part of being the kind of person you are, whatever your personality is, should be the curiosity part, where there's something else that you can venture into. There's a bigger place for you, and you just choose to want to go all up with that. So that was the most important part for me. I decided to take the first step, which is practice how to get comfortable in front of people, communicate, share a bit of myself without feeling like I'm telling a lie, and actually stand by the person I am. But breaking into tech wasn't something that happened just like that. It was a process, and it started from understanding architecture for what it is, but then where does that connect to the entire world of tech? And slowly I began to work my way up. Um, there's this buzzword we hear about a lot, which is diversity and inclusion. They were sort of the elements that drove me into this kind of ideas, the innovation I wanted to see myself, get into, not just to know tech as tech, but to actually build products that were sustainable. So yeah, it's an untapped world at the moment, and in the future it will still be the same, and it's something that I'm quite proud of. So I think the personality really doesn't matter. It's the person behind that you should focus more on. What drives you? What do you really want to do with your life? And pursue it with whatever strength you have.
Yeah, thank you for that one, Oladimeji. I think that's really inspiring. Um, I think I want to ask you another question because um, it is insightful to know how you navigate the space, and of course, there's a whole lot of stereotype with introverts in the industry. Yeah, and it is true that majority of the leaders around the world today, they are introverts as well. So for anyone out there who is watching who may have like that introvert personality, you can actually survive in the space. It is not a jungle for you. Um, Oladimeji, I think I have another question for you in terms of like because I've watched your content over time, and then I watch the way you built your room, like when you were living in Nigeria, day in day
That
out,
was a
like
long time ago.
setting up your space. And then there was a time I think you had this, is it this frame of Canada as well on the wall, and
Yep.
and then you create content around that. So I've watched you over time, like you grew from that, and then now today I think you're a global talent in the UK as well. As well, I know
Yeah.
it takes a lot to actually achieve that as well. So can you just walk us through, like how how did you, like stay consistent, like because doing all of this is not so easy, like staying consistent and then building that brand over time, and becoming who you are today. Like what are those like major challenges that came to your way, and the Nigerian factors as well, because most of our audience listening right now are Nigerians. I would just I would like to know, can you walk us through those Nigerian factors, and how you were able to, like stay consistent over time.
Yeah. So my journey began in architecture, like I mentioned, which is quite an unexpected point for a career in tech. And that transition taught me a valuable lesson about adaptability, resilience, and seizing opportunities. For me, it's always been a reminder that your unique journey is an asset, not really a limitation. So whether you're in Nigeria or wherever it is you are, all of those things happening around you shouldn't be termed as limitations. For me, they were the things that sort of spurred me to want to go all out with whatever it is I was doing. I remember very clearly, just like you said, Toby, starting out as a creator, building my workspace in Ibadan, and then, uh, you know, working literally every day to put out content, and not really content, but to share my story the way I see it. um, what that really did for me was open me up to opportunities that I never thought was possible. And little by little, I started seeing people who were like OGs in tech, for example, just by, going all out with content creation and sharing my story. I started speaking at graphic design conferences. I got to speak with Bolanle Banwo at some point, who at the time she was one of the big people in the industry. I was just starting
Mm,
out. I got the opportunity to share the stage with her and a few other persons. So all I just said now is it's more about being able to adapt and be resilient with all of the opportunities you need to seize. And most people don't really see that as something. You feel like because you're confined to a particular space, to some sort of stereotype or to a way of life, that should be the norm. But I don't think that is. What's most interesting about my journey is that I was able to find the intersection between the creator economy and disruptive technologies, right? Where the tech sector is evolving rapidly. We might have been talking about tech for the past 4 or 5 years in Nigeria, but right now is about the peak, and I feel like getting into it right now would be the game changer. You know, um, there's room for everyone to bring about their creative contributions. To embrace this dynamic space, and in my own view, and based on the principles that guides my life, innovation truly is what drives technology and whatever, the creative space in general. And finding that intersection just made things very easy for me. Understanding architecture, learning more about design, about UI UX, about service design gave me this push to want to just see everything, not just from the perspective of an architect or somebody who really doesn't know much about the world, to someone who now is building products that it would really help change the face of you know real estate within certain sectors. So going back to the main lessons, it is just to learn that adaptability. You have to adapt. You have to be resilient and learn to seize opportunities. The very first opportunity I remembered seizing was when someone within the tech space reached out and was like, "There's a brand that really has, a campaign. They have a lot of things they want to do, and I think you'd be a good fit." And I could have said no because maybe, imposter syndrome, I'm an introvert or whatever, but I didn't say no. I said yes, and was able to deliver so well on that particular project that they had to come back again to work with me. And it continued for, some 6 months. So it started from architecture, but then within Nigeria, architecture wasn't a big thing. I did research. All my projects then were things that people would see and be like, this is futuristic. It doesn't fit the Nigerian space. And that's because I've been researching about all different kinds of spaces, architecture within Nigeria, outside Nigeria. And I loved how I could explore without being limited to just the Nigerian space. So, yeah, I think that's the most important thing for me.
Yeah, thank you, Oladimeji. I think that's really insightful. If anything at all, one key thing that I'll take away from what you just said now is that no knowledge is lost, and then your previous knowledge you can actually build on it, and that would help your creative journey over time and
Yeah.
your career journey over time. Thanks a lot, and then congratulations again on being a father.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, congratulations. Yeah, so last thing I think I just want to ask, like, so these days, what did you do? What do you do these days? Because you mentioned, like, you're like a jack of all trade, and then I think that's probably be a little bit confusing to people as well, because um so these days, can you just tell us, like, what do you do? Because I know you have the Creative Foundry platform. Can you tell us about that?
All right. So from architecture, I moved to branding and identity design, and then explored UI UX, and then right now I'm sort of focusing more on service design. But outside of the more professional office kind of work, um, I I founded the Creator Foundry. It used to be the Simple Creative, which most people will remember. It's a podcast and a community of creators who wanted to learn how to be better, understand the entire space and listen to other people's stories on how they started as creatives or and build their creative self. But then now I'm seeing it beyond just creativity or being a creator, more into becoming a founder. And the Creator Foundry is I'm quite passionate about nurturing the next generation of creators and entrepreneurs, and that is what the Creator Foundry really does. And it helps to seize opportunities in tech, and also blend it with mentorship and being able to see that you're not just boxed to this idea of creator. Because if you look at the creative space today, what everybody does, digital creators, is just doing copies upon copies that is not sustainable. So how do you build sustainable products out of your creative ideas and take it into something that everybody sees and they're quite surprised that, oh, a creator can do this. There's a stereotype of creators being starving artists today, and that's one thing I'm trying to break. So our creators can go from just being creators to becoming innovative founders. And I mean, I use myself as the first experiment, and what I'm doing currently is building a product that will revolutionize how real estates and developers get to raise, like make, build really good. I'm trying to put the right words now. How real estate developers, make a lot of money and three times, four times their revenue by just having extended reality as part of their entire building process. And this also helps customers or consumers to experience properties really well. And this is just me blending my knowledge and my background in architecture with technology to bring something that changes the way people see things. So at the moment I'm building the Creator Foundry, and another company that, I mean, in the next couple of years, let's see how that goes. So
Yeah, that's interesting, Oladimeji. It sounds like you're into big things. You're into big things.
I mean, you have to.
Yeah, exactly. You have to, like, it is a step-by-step process. Growth does not stop. You just have to continue growing. And yeah, so there you go, guys. It's you've been able to learn from Oladimeji's story today. Like, many of you probably know him already, and then you probably watch his content over time, just like me as well. And so this is what learning a tech skill. This is what it can actually do to you, and how much impact it can have in your life, and it can actually take you far as well. Just like Oladimeji. So thanks for joining us. I know,
Thank you
like,
for having
you're a
me.
really busy person and you have a lot to do um, every now and then. So yeah, thanks for your time. I really appreciate, and I hope we would probably see you again by the end of this program, and when our students are all equipped and ready to go into the industry.
All right. We'd love to see that. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks a lot. All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Hi, Ruth.
Thank you
Welcome
so
back.
much.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, over to you, Ruth.
All right. Thank you, Toby, so much for handling that session perfectly. I thought Dimeji would give
So
us like 5 minutes to ask him questions because who doesn't want to be a an authority or a leader in the tech space? I'm sure our audience also have like one or two questions to ask him, but hopefully, like you said, by the end of this session or by the end of this the whole class, that's at the end of the third week, hopefully he would grace us with his presence once again and we'll be able to ask him our questions then. Yeah, while we wait for our next speaker, while we wait for our next speaker to come on board, let me answer your question, Divine. So the lecture is starting on Monday. However, today is just like the introduction, letting you know what you are in for and the opportunities that lie ahead when you learn a tech skill. So, like you see, the speakers we are inviting are all doing so well in their various industry. And for those who don't know, let me just say something briefly about Oladimeji. Oladimeji is currently in the UK as a global talent visa, and that means the United Kingdom recognize him as like a professional, a talent, a sought after talent,
yeah,
and
a
that's why
leader in the space.
a
A
leader in the
leader.
space. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the right word. A leader in the space, and that's why he was granted that visa opportunity. And I'm sure everyone wants that. Oh yes, so our next speaker will be coming on board shortly. But before then, let me ask oh Justina is not yet. And so yeah, okay, she's here now. So let me just ask Justina, why do you decide to teach or do this, like teach people about UI UX design? So why are you doing this in summary? That's the question. Justina, please, you're muted. So
Sorry, I didn't know that. Okay. So thank you very much, Ruth, for that question, right? So it's let me say it started from my own experience and my journey, right? So me starting out in tech, or before I actually came into tech, like I said, I was doing braided wigs and I was selling, right? But I wasn't fulfilled, right? And coming into tech, learning about UI UX design, I learned through people, right? People actually taught me how to actually do these things. I didn't just wake up one morning and then I started. So learning from people, and I started developing this interest. Like, okay, I've learned this. Now I think I need to make an impact. I also want other people to learn and actually be able to, stand for themselves and make a living for themselves. I also want to impact other women to be able to, build their skills, be able to make money for themselves, be able to be independent and stuff like that. And um, that's basically what that's my drive to actually make an impact in people, right? Yeah, in people. So from my experience and everything that and how I came to where I am today, right? I also know that there could be some people who were or are currently in the situation I was in, right? And they are like trying to find a way to make a living, trying to find a way to transition into tech to make their lives better, right? So that is where my passion for this came from, right? The passion to actually make impact. So that is basically it. From my experience, I just want to make impact in other people, help them to build their skills, help them to become what they want to be, right? So, and that's basically it.
Thank you, Justina. Thanks for sharing that motivation, that motivation.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you,
you.
Justina, for that. So, let me also answer that question. Why, why am I doing this? And the reason is similar to what everyone has said. Um, Coming from like yeah, before I left the country, I was after graduation, I was like jobless for 4 years. I was lost. I studied political science and international relations for my first degree, something similar for my second degree. So it was at the tail end of my second degree that I was like, what am I doing? What are you doing with your life? The first degree you have, you're struggling to get a job. The second degree, you're almost through with it. So what's next after this degree? So I just had to reconsider and restructure my mind. Then I was presented with a skill acquisition program, and I was left with choosing between forex and digital marketing. I asked a few people, and some were like, "Oh, learn forex." Some were like, "Oh, learn digital marketing." Then I asked myself, if I learn forex, where will I see the money to invest? That was the next question. Where am I going to see the capital to invest?
You
So then,
borrow
why
laughing.
don't I why don't I go for something that I know that yes, I don't need capital to invest. So I settled for digital marketing. It was just like this, but it was a 1 week program. It was shorter than this, just a 1 week. And even funny enough, the last day, which was on a Friday, I did not even go because there was no transport anymore to go for the training. So I did Monday to Thursday and I skipped Friday. And I told the instructor then that, oh, I won't be coming for the fifth class. And he was like, why? I said, I don't have the money to come. I used like the last money. And this, remember, this was like 4 years after I graduated from uni. And I was doing my second degree then at Unilag. So it was just like, it was just things were not working out. But I did that program. I got the certificate. I was like oneness from this. Then I was just scrolling on Instagram one day and I saw this vacancy internship. They were looking for interns for in a digital marketing agency, and I applied. Note that before then, I don't even know what a digital marketing agency was. I never had an idea. Like I had not interacted with anybody in this field. I just know that, oh, this sounded familiar. It sounded like something that I wanted to do. I'm interested in, and I applied, and I got the role. I got a space because I would not even say it was because I was good, because I had no knowledge. I just had like a certificate and just very few year and there skills. Then I applied for it and I got it, and it's been like that. So why am I doing this? Just because I know that there are thousands of people there that we are in quotes, they are lost. They don't know what next. Some of us are, or some of them are in school currently and they are studying courses they don't like. They are studying courses that they don't know what's next from here. Or someone has told them that, oh, you can work anywhere. Because that's what they told most of us while we were in school, that, oh, go and study anything. You just need a degree. Go and study botany. Go and study this. You can work anywhere. Please, I would not say you can work anywhere. Quite, you might be able to get a job, but will you get satisfaction from that job? So this is just the very best, or this is now the best time to make that decision that would shape your future and shape your life, because you don't know digital is someone said some are serving and passing out soon. Yes, and they've been told you can work anywhere, and that's it. This is just the best time to shape that's the course of your life. Digital, the world is going global. It has gone global and it will still continue to go global. Before last year, there were things like artificial intelligence, but it was not really popular like that. But you can see what AI is doing. You can even just upload your picture and it will give you a final version of yourself. You don't need to stress yourself to write again, and it will continue to get better and better and better. It's not going back. So this is just the best time to pick a skill. And just like everyone said, I've tried learning UI UX. I've tried learning how to code, but you can't be you can't know everything. You can have an idea of everything, but you cannot be the best at everything. but you can have an idea of everything. So me, I know how to use WordPress, the basic HTML tags and whatnot, but I am not the best at everything. You just need to pick where or pick something you know you would enjoy and you can excel at, because learning it is not enough. You need to continually excel at it. So yeah, that's enough motivation for now. Our next speaker is here, and just stay put as she will also share with us how she stumbled into what she's doing now and some valuable lessons for you all. So I'll leave Justina to answer that session. Thank you.
Okay. Um, second. Hello. Um, can everyone still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Justina.
Okay. Okay. So, while we're waiting for our next speaker to join, while we're waiting for our next speaker to join, right? So I'll just, you know, I just want to say this, right? So no matter what your background is, right? No matter what your background is, even if you've never heard about tech, you've never heard about digital marketing, you've never heard about UI UX design, anything, right? Um, just know as long as you can put an interest and try to learn, right? You're actually going to learn and you're going to be good at it. So I think we have our next speaker on the call. We have Raheemat Atata. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. Hello,
Yes, you
Raheemat.
did.
Welcome
Hi.
to the call. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Happy to be here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Awesome.
Uh,
Um, is it my turn yet, or because I just went before, so I don't know.
yes, it is. It's your turn.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So we are so excited to have you on the call. Thanks for joining, right? So, and we are really, really excited and interested in learning about your journey. We want to know about you, like, and I've been a huge fan of yours, been following you on Twitter especially, and learning about you. So, um, please tell us about a bit about yourself, so that
Okay.
yeah.
Um, like I said, thank you so much for the invite. I'm really, really happy to be here. My name is Raheemat Atata, or you can call me Ray for short. I'm a product designer and wanna be content creator. So I started out my tech career from school. I actually studied computer engineering in school. So when I like the major reason why I studied computer engineering was I knew that I wanted to be in tech. Like I was just lucky to have that figured out from the beginning. So although when I was in secondary school, I had like a lot of ambition. I wanted to be a doctor at the time. There was a time I wanted to be a pharmacist. But at the end of the day, when I wanted to register for my jam, I chose computer science. And then my lesson teacher at the time, was the SU president of university. I finished from Unilorin, by the way, so was the SU president of Unilorin. So he was like, oh, that he now told my mom that, oh, that I should go for computer engineering instead, because computer engineering at the time was a new course in University of Ilorin. So my set was the second set in the school. So it was like, oh, that I should go for computer engineering, that as long as at least it's still technology, right? That I just knew that I wanted to do tech, and my mom knows that I have this ambition for like computer and stuff. So I was just like, okay, I don't mind whether it's science or engineering, like whichever one, as long as there's computer, like it's computer related. I've said this story so many times. I'm sure you must have heard it. Like what pushed my interest in computer was through a movie, Arrow, and I was inspired by the female one of the female characters, Felicity Smoke. She was like the tech guru, their tech geek, like in that movie or in that TV series. So yeah, that was what pushed my interest in tech, and that was why I like decided to study that in school. And eventually, when we started like school courses, first year we didn't do anything relating to tech. We did like mathematics, physics. Second year we were still like trying to figure it out, like we're still doing like general engineering courses. So I was like, okay, this is not what I was expecting. I was expecting that maybe first year, maybe second year would have started coding, like doing stuff. In fact, I didn't know what coding was. I just know that there's always this I didn't know that what was the name of this I'm trying to remember. But yeah, I just know that there's something that all these hackers they used to do, that they will be on like a what was it? Sorry. Well, like yeah, they shall always like write code. But I didn't know that it was called code, but I just know that that is what I want to do. But we are not doing anything relating to that in school. So I just decided that okay, you know what? I have to like start figuring stuff out myself. And from there, like I met like there was a class that they grouped us with, like they grouped us like for a particular project, and then that was how I became friends with some other guys. Maybe you know them, Ozenwa and the likes. So we became very close friends, and they too they have interest in tech. One of them was a front end developer, or he was learning HTML and CSS. He has like basic knowledge at the time. And Ozenwa was a graphic designer at the time. I was only one person that I just know that this is what I want to do, but I don't know how to start yet. So because I was friends with them, they influenced my interest. I was able to pick up stuff and we were able to learn together. So basically that was how my tech career started. I started, with front end development. I did front end development for a while, and I tried back end. I tried mobile development before I eventually now settled with design. Then funny story about design was that during my IT, I did my IT in Lagos, and I stayed with my cousin who is also a graphics designer. So when I stayed in their house, so whenever like he's working, like designing on Photoshop, I would probably be coding at the time. And through his influence, I was also able to pick up like a bit about graphics design. I downloaded Photoshop and I was doing simple ugly graphic design, and from there I finally found out about UX design. And yeah, I guess that's just like the background story, just to cut the long story short. That was the background story of how I started out. It was just based on curiosity, and it was based on determination, because I already know what I wanted to do, but I was just not sure where to start from. But yeah, that's
Oh wow, wow, wow! Like
Yeah,
that's a very
so sorry,
relatable
Justina.
story.
Can I just ask?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Toby.
Um, Hi, Justina. Can I just ask Raheemat a question? Because I think her story is actually interesting to me.
All right.
As someone who is doing front end web development as well currently, and then at the same time I'm doing a little bit of marketing and SEO. A little bit of jack of all trade there.
yeah,
Um, so Raima, so what actually happened? Like, you said you studied computer engineering, and then from
yeah.
there you went on to learn coding, and now you're doing UX UI, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
product design
Mm-hmm.
full time. So I
Yeah.
mean, it is really interesting. Your story is really really interesting to think that someone who actually studied computer engineering. Like for me, yeah, when I see people who study computer engineering, I'll be like, oh, see this AI, like this person, Agba, like senior. But then that just kind of like tells us like just because you study computer engineering does not mean like you would enjoy coding,
Yeah.
or maybe you
Yeah.
would like to code long term. And I think that is something
Hmm.
for people to learn as well. Like you can start with like learning a skill, and at the end of the day, you
Hmm.
just find out like this is not something you really enjoy. But
Want,
along the
yeah.
line, you see something else, and then you get to like find yourself. So if you start learning a skill and then you figure out like okay, it's looking like I'm not really passionate about this particular one. Yeah, just jump on the next one. Jump on the one that you think that you are really passionate about, and I think your story in that line just kind of like teach us that lesson.
Yeah,
So
just
over
to
to you,
echo one
Justina.
more thing. um I just want to also mention that if you're just starting out, be very flexible. Like there's like, be flexible with what you want to learn. Like be curious, try out new, like different things. Sometimes I really regret that I didn't start out as a designer at first, but I think I mentioned it to one of my friend at the time, and my friend was like, "Oh, it was because of the journey of how you started. That was why you were in, like, ended up like discovering design." So it's because of the journey of like, oh, you started with front end development, then you did this and you did that. Like, and I would not lie, like the knowledge, even if it is not like I'm coding in design currently, but the background or basic knowledge that I understood from front end development, how, like, everything works, like it really makes it like easy for me to apply it in my design. And so yeah, so if you ask, even as I am right now, I feel like I would still pivot into something else that is not design, to be honest, because I feel like a lot is changing for me right now. And I was even still telling my sister this morning that I'm just trying out, like, I want to do like more things. I feel like I need to do something new, like something different. And yeah, so it's like this, this change, it happens at any time in your career. You could be like, you could be very good already, or you could be at the early stage of your career where you just feel like, oh, I need to, learn something new or try something else out. It was true, like, trying to, learn more. And I basically, I content creation is also like something that I added to my design, but it is not really related to design, but it has really helped my skill as a designer in terms of, I know that there are questions, but in terms of communication, soft skill, presentation and stuff, soft skill in terms of like editing videos, like all those things, all those small things that are not like, you don't know how those little skill that you have now, or that you learn out of, like maybe you want to try something new, how they would eventually contribute to your career later in the future. So I just wanted to mention that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Raheemat. So I actually picked a lot from your story, right? And I can say it's really inspiring and very relatable as well. So the key word for me is be flexible. So just try as much as possible to learn as much as you can, and as long as you can be able to, you have the opportunity to actually do that, right? So just learn, and from there you're able to discover what really interests you and inspires you, and you can actually pick your field. And don't be afraid to change, don't be afraid to be flexible. And thank you very much for that. um so we have, okay, so I would actually want to understand, like, being in the design field and all, how do you stay updated on the trends and innovations in UI UX design? Like,
um I would say like trends go and come. So, and it is not compulsory that you have to jump on every trend that, or every new tool that it is out there. Like, just make sure that, what is there a reason why you want to learn it? Does it like like, is there somewhere you need to apply it, or maybe you just want to learn it because like it's something new. um yeah, like I won't say like I jump on every trend, but it's also very good to actually know, what is trending, like have like a background knowledge. There was a time when the Web3 and like what's the name of this Web3 NFTs, like, there was a time in, I think,
Blockchain, that's the
2021,
one.
blockchain and the likes, they were trending back then, and all designers, like, literally everybody's putting Web3 designer. Like, till today, I still don't understand what Web3 designer means. You know, it's still the same design that you're doing. So, but everybody just wanted to like jump on the trend of like, oh, this is what is trending, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. So sometimes it's just like, is it really necessary? Like, how does it apply to you? Like, maybe the time that you're spending learning like a trend, or something that might not benefit you yet, maybe that time you could like use it to do something else that would actually benefit you. But I won't say it's a bad thing. It's actually good to have knowledge about what is trending and know what is going on. But you have to also think about, like, what is my goal? Does it apply to me? Is it something that somebody that is doing user research, UX research, design, and is jumping on trend on visuals or stuff, something. But yeah, like, just think about how does, like, what is my main goal or end goal of learning this new trend? Is it because I want to maybe pivot to this particular side of my career? Maybe I want to focus more on visuals, so because of that, I'll probably want to spend more time learning some of this new tool for visual design. Or maybe I want to focus more on research, and because of that, I want to like spend more time on documentation and stuff. So like, you just want to make sure that if you want to jump on a new trend or on a new tool or anything that is trending, you have to like think about what is the end goal. Like, how do I, like, what do I achieve from doing this? Is this just for me to design and just post it online and show people that I also know what is trending? Or does it apply to you, or does it benefit you on the long run? So yeah, so that's one thing that I think everybody should always think about before jumping on any new trend. I'm not somebody that actually really, really jump on trends. I jump on them if like maybe they interest me. Sometimes it might be that you just want to learn it, you like it and you just want to try it out. Sometimes there are some, there was a time when this glamour for glass this glass I don't want to murder the name, but there's this a UI trend back there that has this glass,
That's morphism.
glass, like, yeah, something like that. I actually used that design. I tried it out, but like, I mean, like, back then it was just a trend and people are no longer using it now. But yeah, so you just want to be sure that you are not left behind. You know what is trending, but you don't want to also spend time on something that will not benefit you on the long run. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And like, thank you very much for spelling that out, because I was actually, or would I say I'm actually someone that would I say late to trends, and I feel bad that, oh, this trend has just come and gone and I didn't really participate. And thanks for actually throwing more light to that and helping helping us understand better how to utilize trends, right? So thank you very, very much. So okay, so my next question is, I would like to ask what advice you have for women who are entering into tech, right? Particularly in the field of UI UX design, right? Are there any specific challenges you faced and overcame, like you would like to share insights on, so that we can also learn from your story?
Yeah, so for women that are like in the design, I feel like it's a really, really beautiful career path for women, to be honest. Like, I'm always very inspired and happy when I see, like, ladies like myself, like in tech generally, and then in the design field. I feel like currently, I feel like there are more women in the design field than men right now. Well, like, it's really nice. It's I mean, it's not as, I mean, I won't say it is simple. Like, I won't say design is simple. It's actually not simple. But I feel like it suits us more because it feels, I feel like design itself feels feminine, kind of. When they talk about, although design is not just about colors and stuff, but like, I feel like design itself as a career feels feminine. So yeah, I feel like it's a beautiful career for a lady. And it's not, I feel like it's not demanding as maybe development, because development can be demanding in terms of, let's say you're working with a company and then they call you that something happened on production in the middle of the night and you need to quickly fix it. Especially people that are working in fintech, they know how those like things happen that all of a sudden, even during holidays, sometimes like developers don't have a break because they need to monitor like what is going on in production so that nothing breaks and stuff like that. But unlike design, I mean, once design is like the the blueprint of any product, right? So design is always like done before development even comes. So sometimes even in my company, I'm just always like, "Ah, what will I now be doing now that they are developing this new feature?" Of course, there's more work like testing and stuff, but design is still less time demanding. It's still time demanding because it's work, but like compared to development, I feel like it is much easy. So as a woman, don't feel like it is not meant for you. Like if I can do it, you can do it, obviously. So um yeah, so regardless of what level, whether you're married or you have children, or someone reached out to me yesterday and she was like, oh, she's just starting out design and she has 2 kids already and her husband is ready to support her. And I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. And like I like when you have courage to start something without thinking that you have like a limitation of maybe because you're married or because you didn't study a particular course in school. No, like that, like everything in life is a challenge, and if you want to succeed in life, you have to be able to challenge yourself and put in work. So as a woman, I feel like you should always like be ready to take on a challenge. What are the lessons that I've learned and challenges that I've faced? I won't say I've faced any kind of challenge that because I know that there are like challenges out there that people are faced in their workplace. But for me, I don't think I've faced any kind of challenge that has to do with my gender, like that has to do with my sex, or because I'm a woman or a female. Like I don't think I've faced any kind of discrimination or anything that hinders that. But like one thing that I just want to emphasize on is, but this advice is not just for a woman but for anybody. If you are working in any company, or yeah, just make sure that you separate yourself from the work that you do, so that it makes it easy for you to get feedback if you are not if like maybe your work needs like some feedback, or it doesn't meet the requirements or like the expectation. Make sure you don't get too emotionally connected to the work that you do, so that when anybody give you feedback, you can analyze the feedback, look for what you like, the advice that will really benefit you, and also check for advice, like check if like analyze the advice and see, okay, where do I need to work on, what do I need to do better, and what do you think I did well. And then ask the right questions. Basically, don't just take any feedback that you like anybody give you and feel like, oh, it is the right feedback or it is the wrong feedback. You have to like analyze and see and check yourself and see, okay, maybe this person is actually saying the right thing, right? In case you get laid off, I got laid off last year, in 2022 rather, and it was like it actually broke me. I will not lie, and even up to now, I'm still recovering from it. Like literally, I went off like social media. Even up to now, I'm still not very like much back on. I used to be very very active on Twitter. I used to be very active on LinkedIn. That I would post content. I would like post things like even on YouTube. I just recently started creating content on YouTube just December last year. So I took almost a whole year off just to get myself back together. And it's because I was too emotionally connected to the people that I work with, to the products that I was working on. So it really, really broke me when I got laid off. So try as much as possible not to be too emotionally connected to the work and the people that you work for. Remember that a company or people that anybody that you work for, everybody looking for profits, everybody wants to make money, and they will always do what they feel is right for them. So always make sure that you also try to protect yourself when it comes to these things, and always put yourself first. If you see any opportunity that you feel like it would change your life, please go for it. Don't consider or think about any company that, oh, this company, I just joined. Or I remember that before I got laid off, I got a job offer, and I turned down that job offer because I just joined this company that laid me off, and I was like, oh, I can't do that to them. Or like I really enjoyed working here. And after like 2 months of turning down that particular offer, I got laid off, and I was just regretting that, why didn't I just take go for it, But I mean, everything happens for a reason. So maybe I will not be where I am today if I didn't be I took the job. So yeah, so but like also try to protect yourself, always put you first, anything in anything you do, especially when it comes to work. Always do what's like you feel like is good for your mental health, for you as a person, for you in your career. Always try to also challenge yourself. If you work in a company where they don't put much emphasis and they don't put much respect for design, or they don't really you know respect our design is not a big thing for them. Like design is just like that part of the process, but like they don't allow you to follow due process. Look for ways in which you can always raise your voice to let them know the importance of design. Advocate for yourself, advocate for the work that you do. Actually, always advocate for the work that you do. Try to be engaging on like channels, try to talk, let them know you. Actually, let like the people you work for know you. If you work in a big team, you don't want to just be doing so much and nobody is seeing what you're doing. Make sure that they can see what you're doing. Make sure that you do something small and you make it look like it is big, because that's the only way you can move forward in this in this industry, to be honest. Let people see, even though they say like an empty barrel make the loudest noise. Make noise. Like it is very important, because nothing is guaranteed. And when it comes to promotion also, those are the things that would speak for you. The people that know you, that have worked with you, that they are the ones that will speak for you in rooms that you are not even present. So yeah, I feel like I've said so much where
Oh wow, wow! Thank you very much for that. Like, I felt like you should just keep on going. Like, I really, really enjoyed that. Right? Thank you very, very much. So I like moving on to our next question, because we really, really want to learn a lot from you. And so, what skills do you consider essential, right, for a UI UX designer or someone in tech? You know, like what skills do you really consider essential, for growth and everything?
um so aside design skill, like you have to know how to use this like Figma at least if you
Yeah.
want to be a designer. Like I mean, the output of design research, whatever we do, is the visuals, what it looks like, and how people use, like people's experience using that particular product. So you want to understand the fundamental of, okay, what is the UX itself? How do you become intentional about like your designs? How do you consider the users, like um convenience when they use your products? Like, do you know the reason why a particular button is put on the left hand side or down, like on the bottom right? Do you know the reason why it is put on the bottom? Do you know the reason why it is put at the top? Like, there's intentionality in design, and you have to always understand the reason why some things are done a certain way. So because all the time when you want to join a new company, or you are interviewing, what they would ask you, or what they always ask is that, what is the like reason behind this particular design? So you have to be able to defend. You don't just do things just because it is fine or it is nice aesthetically. You want to also understand the reason why it is there, and why it works the way it is working, or why it is not working the way it's supposed to. So you want to be very, very intentional. So that means you have to understand the background knowledge about UX itself, like how to carry out research, how to use Figma tools, design. And then another thing you need to know how to do is to be able to, you know, articulate your thoughts. Sometimes it is actually very hard. I also struggle with it. I struggle with it a lot. You have to be able to articulate your thoughts. You have to be able to communicate your idea, like, because as a designer you will always, unless you don't want to move forward, you would always be in a position where you need to present your work and talk about your work to people, with the at least your team, if not like a big audience, but your team. You have to be able to articulate your thoughts, then communicate it to them ways like they can easily understand and grab what you're trying to say and see what you're trying to do, right? So it's not enough that you're a good designer. You have to be able to also communicate properly in the language that your team can easily understand. You also have to have like a good presentation skill, presentation in terms of the way you talk, presentation in terms of visuals, like, okay, how do I presentation is still a form of communication, right? So how do I present this thing to my team in such a way that they would understand they will get like, how do I simplify this idea in such a way that people would understand what I'm trying to say. um another thing you want to also Another skill you want to also have is documentation and writing skill. You want to, because um part of what like is a soft skill that you should have as a designer. Even as a person, you have to be able to document your life. Like, if somebody asks you that, what have you been able to do today, you should be able to, articulate and document what you've been able to do. And I feel like simple activity like documenting your activities, writing down a to do, having like a plan, is like part of documentation too. Like, being able to like itemize, like, or articulate the reason why this button is here, or like the reason why we made this particular decision. Because when you want to like present, you know or make a report or talk about your achievements or impact, you want to have all those data. You want to understand, you want to be able to, tell them that, okay, so when we first of all work on this UI, we discovered that the users were finding it difficult to like figure out where the button is. And after we did like proper testing, we're able to discover that, okay, it was because the button was hidden and we had to bring it on the to the top or to the front or to the left. Like, you want to like have those things documented. Like, you want to be able to have like a certain data that you can use as proof of your work, of like your achievements, of the things that you've done, of even your knowledge as a person. Because sometimes we forget what we know, and is that documentation that you've done that would actually help you. And sometimes when I go through like my very old notes or some things that I've written down in the past, and I will just smile like that, oh wow, I actually wrote this. So yeah, so you want to also know, like, have the skill of writing and documenting. I've struggled with writing. I really, really struggle with writing. I think it has gotten to be I because I struggle with writing, I started writing articles and I did not pass. Like, the only article that I have right now is just two articles on my Medium. I wanted to like I even have some like an article that I've written since 2021 that I never published, that I still in my notes. So yeah, so you want to like those soft skills, they are very important and they would contribute and take your career to the next level if you know how to use them very well. So yeah, I think I would stop there. Feel like I hope I was able to answer your question. And I noticed that I think they've taken electricity. Okay. It's better.
I can never disappoint. Okay, so I'm back. Right. So thank you very, very much. Right. Like that response is really, really like very succinct. Like even the documentation thing is something I also struggle with, right, till today. The writing, you have to, after designing, you have to sit down, document and stuff like that. Even the presentation, right?
Mhm.
Being someone who is an introvert and growing to the level of being like a senior designer and all, right?
Yeah.
Now I don't have my managers to present for me, and I have to do the presentation myself and all. I
Mm-hmm.
struggle with
Mm-hmm.
that a lot, like being able to present
Yeah.
and stuff. But with time,
So,
right, it's something
yeah.
that keeps growing. Like you get to learn from experience and all. So please
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
also want to say something about the fact that when you are just starting out, your manager or like your PM, or like if you are working under a senior designer, they'll be the one to, do it. I think one thing you can do for yourself is, if they don't offer to say that, oh, present, even if you are the one that worked on design, you can volunteer that, please, can you allow me to present the design today? Like, something like that. Just try to push yourself, because nobody will like prepare you for the day when you will not be prepared at all, and then they'll just tell you to present like the design. You will now start, especially imagine you presenting a design to like your CEO. There are days that you will be like the CEO will be on the call, and then they will tell you to present it, and then you now start stammering that, so like I now move the then I start looking for a new job. But yeah, like, you just want to like always find a way to challenge yourself, especially if you know where you are lacking. Like, try to, I think one thing that I've been able to do for myself, I still struggle, I will not lie, but the reason why I started volunteering to speak at events in 2021, I can show you that goal. Like I wrote it down that I need to work on my communication skill, I need to work on my presentation skill, I need to like stop being shy. You know, that was my goal in 2021. Like I'm so proud of the fact that I was able to now, like, now like I can easily even join a call like that. I would get invited and I would not even prepare for it, and I would still be able to, like, you know talk and still make sense, right? So yeah, so you just want to push yourself. Once you know that there's something that you are not good at, look for ways to improve on it. Please don't lie to yourself. You are the one that know yourself like the most. Like nobody knows like what is deep in your heart. You know what your fears are, you know where you are lacking. Try to just work on it.
Okay, thank you very much. So moving on to our next question, right? So, being a designer, right? Like feedback can come from anywhere, right? So we want to know, how do you handle this feedback, both good, bad, those feedbacks, they never stop coming, right? So how do you handle that?
Oh, okay. Feedback
Like
is,
feedback and criticism, basically.
I would say have like an open mind. But if I say have an open mind, I'm just going to, like, it's just being vague, because sometimes it's hurts, like especially when you put so much effort into a particular work and somebody tell you that it doesn't meet their expectation. I remember the first time when my manager gave me that feedback, I actually cried on the call. So yeah, like I was like, oh my god, I put in so much effort. I stayed up all late, and it was like, who told you to stay up late to work on a design, like to work, I was even getting more query, because I was trying to, like, make him seem like, have some kind of empathy. And it was just like, no, you're not supposed to do that, it's not even ideal, like. so so yeah, try to have an open mind and try to digest what the feedback is. Like I said, not all feedback is good feedback. Analyze the feedback. Look at yourself. Is this feedback, does it really apply to, like, is it really true? Sometimes people give feedback because they don't understand the context of what you've done. There's only when you're able to communicate your idea and give context. Okay, this is the reason why this design is like this. This is why it will not work, or like the idea that you're giving me will not work, because so if they understand your context and the feedback still applies, then you know what you need to work on. I feel like feedback is actually very good, because I hate it when I do something and then you're just telling me that, oh, this is really nice. I want to hear what I need to improve on, or what is not right that I need to do, so that I can improve on myself, because I'm very selfish about, growth. I just want to be good at what I do, right? So don't just tell me that this is good. I want to know what I need to do better. So yeah, so feedback is actually very good. Be open-minded, like, um just be open-minded, like try to look for ways to cope with, even when you get like negative feedback. Just know that on the long run is going to help you in your career. So yeah, so don't get discouraged if you get, like, if you have somebody that can be honest with you. And because every time, sometimes when you post your work online, people will just be putting fire, it's like, they will just be putting fire on your nobody, you will not see anybody that'll tell you that, oh, like, oh, the button is not consistent, or somebody that will look at the design closely and tell you that, oh, this thing is not right, it's not good accessibility or something, like, you don't know what anybody will say that will just like transform your career or take your career to the next level. So you want to ensure that if you have like a manager, or like you're on a team where you have somebody that is very honest with you, that will tell you if your work is good or not, please like hold that person tight, and make sure that you also try to argue your point or your reason for a particular design before you now take in the feedback that, okay, I think this feedback is good feedback, or, oh, this is bad feedback because this person does not understand what I was trying to do. So then you want to communicate your idea better to the person. So yeah.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Like, I'm really learning a lot on this call. Thank you so much. So, we're moving on to the next question, right? So it's with this buzz about AI, ChatGPT, Mid Journey, and all the rest of them, right? The new ones keep coming up, right? And I know they're going to keep coming up. So, how do you see AI impacting the field of UI UX design, and what are some current applications that you would, that you find particularly exciting?
I would say I would not lie. Like never been a fan of AI. Like even before it became something very big. But now, like I feel like I can't even do without it. So, like I said, I struggle with writing. So now with the I feel like the only AI tool that I use like a lot now is ChatGPT, and is especially in design. So for example, like you're working on a design, you want to come up with a copy, or even need like a dummy copy just to like stand there for now before like maybe the content writer on the team is ready. You're working on a design that you need something quick that can just stay there. You can quickly just a type in something on ChatGPT that, oh, come up with a UX design to UX content for this, just so for this thing, like you just give a quick prompt and then you get something. I feel like it's if you know how to use it, it would help you a lot. Like if you are looking for job, that's like the perfect tool for you. What I do nowadays, I copy the job description, I paste inside ChatGPT. I copy my resume, entire resume. I paste inside ChatGPT. I tell ChatGPT to tell me the hidden words that are not in my resume, and then ChatGPT will tell me the hidden words. And then the next thing I do, I tell ChatGPT to, you know, to rephrase my resume to include all the hidden words in this particular job description. And yeah, and it will do it. It will do literally. It is as if you're having a conversation with somebody. It will literally do everything that you say for you, and you just copy your resume. You have to read through also, because sometimes the AI also like use some vocabularies and English words that makes it sound as if it is a robot that wrote it. So you want to make sure that your your resume or whatever you want to use that copy for sound human. You can even tell it to sound human. Like you can literally tell here to like make it sound human, or make it sound friendly, make it sound persuasive. Like it's so it's so beautiful what it can literally do. So as a designer, I've not actually used the AI tool that helps you to design, because I know that there are tools out there that can help you to design. But I'm not like design is a creative work, and I don't think like um what I'm not those one of those people that believe that at a point AI would take the job of a designer. Design is a creative work, and AI can only do what they've seen. Like I mean, like what has been they cannot be creative as like humans, because humans are always creative. Like the way, if you know how creative we are, you'll be shocked like how what the kind of thing and our brain can do. It is when you when you build a product, and you build a product that, okay, my users, they will log in, and then from login they will order what they want to order, they buy something. You'll be surprised when you hear what your users are actually using your app for and what they can do with it. So humans are very creative, and I don't think AI can actually do better creative work than humans. I feel like, yeah, I don't believe that it's actually true that AI would take our work anytime soon. But I would always advise that you look for ways that you can leverage AI. The ways you can leverage AI in your work, like how you can make it work for you, basically. So like if you want to come up with copies, it's so hard. Like I'll not lie, writing for me, I struggle with writing. So, and I use ChatGPT a lot whenever if I want to write something, I'll write it. I'll tell it, okay, ChatGPT to correct the typo, or like I'll compose something, tell ChatGPT to like rephrase it to make it sound more professional. That kind of thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I would say, yeah, you should try to look for ways in which that you can leverage the AI tools. There are a lot of them out there. I just use ChatGPT, to be honest, for most of my work. So yeah.
Okay, thank you very, very much. So, um, Thank you so much. So for our last question, so that we can also take questions from the audience, right? So considering the evolving nature of technology, right? So where do you see UI UX design and in the future? Like what skills do you think in particular will be valuable for UI UX designers in the coming years? And I don't know.
uh, I, I I feel like the industry is getting very competitive, and you just want to become like you yourself, you want to be a competitor, you want to be somebody that when people look at you and they'll be like, ah, that person na agba. Do you get? So
Yeah.
I would say that if when I like started my career as a designer, if like, probably I'm starting now, I have a long way to go. Like because the way I even got my job, my first job, I didn't even have a portfolio. So like now, even you that you have portfolio self, you are still struggling to get like interview. Do you get? So,
Yeah.
so the industry is getting very, very competitive. That a lot of creative people are coming out, and you just want to ensure that you remain like you remain evergreen. Like you have knowledge, you are like refreshing your knowledge, you are learning new things. The ways in which I do this, like learning, like trying to learn, is like I try to teach people what I know. If I'm learning something new, I want to probably, and that's why I actually have a YouTube channel, so that I can post about it or teach people, record a video about it and talk about that particular thing that I'm learning. Because the more you teach people, the better it is for you to actually even understand what you know itself. So yeah, so as a designer in the future, like please just continue to learn. It's like an endless circle. Like there's always something new that you need to learn other skills. You try content creation, try to like try public speaking, whatever would make you competitive. Like just make sure that you don't just rely on your design skill. You also try to, I saw a post that luckily that one of the speakers, I don't know if she has spoken already, Bolanle Banwo, she posted something recently about layoffs and how you need to be like, have like a brand in which like just have a brand, so that if you get laid off, people already know you, and they don't need to like you don't need to do too much to show people what you can do. Like my second job, one like I got the job through my YouTube channel, because one of the recruiter saw my channel, like one of my videos, and they liked it. And when I joined the team, even though that was the company that laid me off, they are always very supportive. Like anytime if I don't post like on my YouTube channel, my manager will literally be asking me that, oh, you've not posted in a while. When are you posting? Like, and that was what made it very thoughtful, because I really, really connected with the people that I worked with, and they were so supportive of like my what you do outside of work. Do you get? So yeah, so just make sure that you have like a brand, or you have a name to yourself. People know what you do. They don't need to like search like far. If they search Raheemat Atata online, they can literally see my work. You can see what I've done, can see my value and everything that would bring to your company. So you just want to make sure that you continue to learn, you continue to grow. Yeah, the industry is really, really changing, and it is very, very competitive now. So you want to also make sure that you continue to grow as a person, so that people can you can just get opportunities. Basically.
Okay, like thank you so much, Raheemat Atata. Like it's been really inspiring and value packed having you on this call, right? Thank you so much for sharing with us, like sharing your knowledge, your journey, and everything. I believe a lot of us have been inspired, especially me. I've been inspired, right, by your story and everything you've really shared with us today. So thank you very much. I believe some people will have questions in the audience, and I'll be handing over to Ruth. So, Ruth, hello.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rimat, for that interesting and interactive section. So while you were speaking, Some people were dropping questions. Let me just navigate down and see if I can see some of those questions again. I remember someone asking, how do you create a niche for yourself? Raheemat, do you want to answer that? The person asked, how do you create a
Yeah,
niche for yourself?
I think you can only have a niche when you've tried things out. Just try things out and look for what you really like. Like, try to look for, how do I put it? Like, you need to try things out to like see if it's something that you would like or not. You cannot niche if you don't know what you want to niche on. Like, you've not tried. Like, wait, I'm planning to. I'm learning design now. Design is a very brand, like a wide, field. There's brand design. There's UI UX design. There's user research. Like, design is very wide. That you know you want to niche down. Like, what do I want? Like, you need to try all these things and then now see, okay, I actually feel like I love visuals, and probably, maybe I should stay in like brand identity and visual design. But if you don't try it out, you cannot know. And I feel like one thing that people that talk about, oh, I'm trying to look for a niche, is because you've not tried out like what really interests you, right? So you have to be willing to experiment and be curious and try to learn things before you can finally find a niche. Like I said, when I started out, I did web design, I did front end, I did back end, I did mobile developments. Even doing mobile developments, I learned TypeScript. I was using Angular at the point, and then I tried that, which was a Flutter. I just tried all those things until I finally found design. And it was when I started, I didn't mean design was not the niche for me. I would have tried something else. So you have to keep on trying until you find like the one that actually really interests you, that you want to build a career out of. And even after you build a career out of something, if after like a while you feel like, oh, this thing is not really my thing again, or like I'm getting bored, try something else. Like, just be flexible. I feel like it is hard. Change is very hard. I will not lie. But if you are willing to, like, go through like the struggle and the also of trying something new, like, I feel like it would really benefit you on the long run. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. The next question is, please, can you spell the name of the movie that you said pushed you into computer?
Arrow is an old TV series. I'm not sure if you know Arrow. It's an old TV series. Arrow and Flash, I think they mix them together at a point. But yeah, I just like all the sci-fi and action movies and stuff. Well, where back then in 2013, Arrow was like one of the trendy movies.
Okay, I think this will be the last question. How do you create how do you
A
create a
brand,
brand for yourself? Or how do you create a brand in yourself? I'm not sure, maybe it's in
yeah.
or for yourself. And this other one, okay, this other person is saying, please, can we get the social media handle of our speakers to follow them? Sure, we'll share that.
Okay,
Then,
so
yeah,
how do you
okay. How do you
okay,
create
let
a
me just
brand for
answer
yourself? Yeah.
the brand. I feel like it might not start as like something big. It might start as something very small, as like, helping someone out, or like designing something and then putting it out there. You know, um, you just want to think about, the last question that I answered was answering the question around how do you, like, prepare for the future. And I told you, like, the field is very competitive, so you want to think very hard, what are people not doing that I can introduce to my work as a designer. Do you, like, when I started my YouTube channel, I know that there were not like a lot of YouTube channel that is focused on design, that it is owned by a black female person. Most of the time, if you go try to look for a video tutorial on design, you mostly see white people. So that is like, that a black person is actually the one anchoring, that is the owner of the YouTube channel that creates. And yeah, and it didn't just start because of that. It also started because I always get questions, a lot of questions about, oh, how do I get started as a designer? What are the resources that you would, recommend? All these questions. So I was just like, instead of me repeating myself all the time, repeating the same thing all the time, why not just have a channel that I can just talk about it? And if anybody asks me a question about it, I'll just send you that video that, oh, check this video out. I know that when I got my global talent visa, I know that a lot of people will ask me questions about it. I recorded the video and I, talked about like the process and how you can get the visa, and I posted it online. I like every time anybody asks me a question about it, I just share the link with them. So it can start as, something as selfless as just trying to help people, and from there it will just turn to something huge for you. So you want to think about things that are people are not actually doing that you can do, that can make you competitive. Like one of my mentee that I mentored, she was she the mentorship was very short. I don't know if you know her. Some of you guys might know her, Stephanie. And she's just like a very creative person. Like, she noticed that there's no design book club. She created a design book club where like they read design book and they review it on Twitter Spaces. She's a good writer, so she writes on Medium. She writes Medium posts, about things that she's learning. She tries to pivot, so she's now currently a design strategist. And there are not a lot of UX strategy, like people that actually niche on UI strategy, and she started that. So you want to be creative also to build a brand. You need to think about what people are not doing. Even if there's something that people are doing, it will be different if you also do it, because we all have like different background that influence the things that we do. We have different knowledge, we have different ideas. So I might be doing like, you know we're doing design. We are both doing design, but like there's something that will make your own design different. Like we might learn together, but your design will be different than mine, because within like our creative ideas are not the same thing. So you want to ensure that, yeah, just try things out and think about how ways in which you can stand out. Yeah, I think that's what I want to say. Look for ways that you can stand out, things that people are not doing, that if you do it, or you maybe you design it, people would say that, wow, okay, this is different. It's not something that people are doing.
Thank
Just
you so much. Thank you so much. I think I think that will be all. Let me confirm if okay, this is the last one. How long does it take to become perfect with an acquired tech skills?
there's no perfection anywhere. You just continue to learn. Like, people like don't wait for and like nothing is perfect in this life. You can't be perfect. So there's nothing like how long. Why are you looking for how long? Start already. Like, don't wait for how, like, oh, you want me to tell you that it's going to take you 2 months or 1 week or like 1 year? If I tell you that it's going to take 1 year, if I tell you it's going to take 5 years, will it stop you from trying it anyways? So like don't look for like how long does it take you? Like, start it already. It might be different for you. Like, there are people that started this design career and within 3 months they already have a job, while there are some people that actually started and after a year they are still looking for a job. So everybody's destiny, everybody's situation, everybody's background is different. So you cannot use other people's the time it took them to actually learn something might be different from for you. Like, it's just like the way we are in school, that we have people that grab things easily, and then we have people like myself, that we have to go to night class, we have to read it over and over before we get it. So yeah, so we are different, and yeah, you can't use other people's situation to judge whether you should start something or not. Hope I was able to answer your question.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. There are comments here. I love you, Miss Rimat. Thank you. So
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much. Thank you so much for coming on to this webinar. It really means a lot to us. And we hope you accept our invitation some other time.
Of course. Thank you for
Thank you.
having me.
You're welcome. Okay.
Okay, so any moment from now, Bolanle should be joining us. Right. So Ruth, hi Ruth, are you still there with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
So
over to
yeah,
you, Ruth.
guys, tell me how has it been so far?
Yeah, let us know in the comment section. So
Yeah,
Bolanle is
just
going
let
to
us
be
know in the
joining
comment
us
section.
soon, and then
Only one person said really inspiring. Who else? How has it been so far?
Ruth, everybody is fasting. Yeah, like it is that time of the year that people are fasting, but you
Sorry,
cannot come and kill yourself.
anytime I
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
anytime I
yeah. Thank
stopped.
you, thank you. I mean, it's been yeah, it's been a long section.
Yeah, we
Right. So I
almost
think we have Bolanle with us now. She she's going to be joining the live.
okay.
Can everyone see me?
Yes, 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 we can.
Okay. Okay.
Welcome, 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 Bolanle.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
really
you. Thank you. Thank you.
it's a great honor to
Thank
have
you
you
so
here. Thank you for honoring our webinar. So briefly,
thank
this is
you.
the this is the webinar introducing our audience about everything they would be expecting on this live. It's a 3 week long training that has to do with several skills, and it's been an interesting session so far. And we'll just head right into it. So, guys, Bolanle is here, and for those who don't know who she is, briefly read. I'll briefly read her profile. So, Bolanle Banwo, I don't want to murder this name, is a brand identity designer and design advocate from Lagos, Nigeria. She's the founder of Genisa Brands, an agency that specializes in helping brand build strong identities and tell compelling stories through creative designs. She's also the founder of the female designer movement. Right now, I'm supposed to be seeing like people screaming and shouting. I know we can't shout and scream, but yeah, let your reactions or your comments or your emojis do the screaming. She's also the founder of the female designer movement, an initiative that launched with a mission to train and equip women with a design skill set. Bonale received the Tech L Award 2023 at the prestigious She Code Africa Summit in October. In that same year, she served as an official UN Women Delegate for the United Nations. She was featured on BBC Pidgin in March 2018 at the inaugural edition of the Female Designer Movement. Bonale also spoke at the January Microsoft DigiGirls Camp held at Microsoft Lagos office for International Women's Day. In April, she was listed on Wema's Bank Alerts NG Women's in Tech. Wow. Bonale was nominated and included by Be for Good International on the esteemed list of 100 women who are creating a better Africa. She has been featured in Business Day's CEO's magazine, Women of Rubies, the Nigerian Tribune, and Channels Television, where she discussed her design journey, projects, and efforts to improve the design ecosystem. So Bolanle's you can find Bolanle online on Instagram at Bolanle_Banwo, where she occasionally shares her work and projects. She currently teaches design at the Genesis School of Creative. Like, it's the consistency for me. It is the consistency for me. That's a very great profile, Bolanle. So tell us, can you briefly share with us how you stumbled into tech and design?
Okay, thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you for having me here. I wish I could, just see everyone listening, so I could maybe not see, but kind of see their reaction, so I know when I'm getting through to them. But that's fine anyway. Thank you so much. How I got into tech and design. So I'll say that everything started with me just being interested in design, right? Just understanding. I knew from the beginning that I wanted to do something that was design related, because that was like the some of the things that was basically like the only thing I was really interested in, expressing myself, expressing my creativity, using whatever I could find around to just create something out of nothing. And this was secondary school. And you know the way secondary school is, where you're given assignments, and sometimes would be given art assignments, SS3, SS2, and I'll do the assignment for my classmates because many of them didn't know how to draw. And I'll do the assignments to buy me food. I'll go from class to class. They all knew me. When it comes to your art assignments, you want to paint, you want to draw. I was so excellent at it, right? I just knew that this was what I was supposed to do. Obviously, I didn't know how to navigate. I really didn't know what to do with that knowledge or with the ideas I had. But I just told myself, whatever opportunity or chance I get, I would ensure that I continue, on this path. So I finished secondary school. Um, I remember I was in science class at first, and I was struggling with some of the subjects. And I'll pass by art class and I'll see them, mixing colors, painting, and I was like, this is what I want to do. But peer pressure. I followed my friends. I went to, science class until I stumbled on, I think it was maybe physics or chemistry. I can't remember, and I was always really struggling. And then you see things like biology. I'm drawing the skeletal, system. I'm drawing everything. I'm even shading. And you'd be wondering, are you supposed to be in science class or art class? I was obviously struggling with being there. And so I think it was SS3 second term or so. I'd missed. I was for the first time I was in science class. I just said, you know what, I'm going to move to arts class. This is where I'm supposed to be. And so I moved. And I think one of the reasons why I didn't want to moved to art class at first is because everyone at home, everyone at my sisters, my brothers, they all studied, science related subjects. And I didn't want to be the only one, studying art and everything. And so I decided to just move to art class. And it was such a good decision because I was striving. I wasn't just struggling with just hiding my talent or what I wanted to do. I was striving. And so when I finished secondary school, it was almost like now I have to face reality. You have to go to the university. Um, I realized that there were not like a lot of schools that were like super affordable in Nigeria. And they were not even available, like easy and readily available for me to like attend. There were not a lot of schools that focused on design, where you have like design, related subjects, and then you can actually focus on it right at the university level. And so I just told myself, you know what, I'm going to do the closest thing I can find is mass comm. I'll do mass comm. And because I'm a shy, I used to be very shy. Um, because I used to be very shy, I would, stay, I would hide. When it comes to like assignments in school, that's in the university now, I would, design the cover. In short, I used to put other students in trouble. I was that person in class, in uni, I would be giving them, they'll give the group assignments, and I would design our cover do everything. Since I can't study design, let me use my skill. Let me use my knowledge, my passion. Let me use it here. That kind of thing. I'll force it into it. So I would design the cover, and then the lecturer will come and say, "See, this was well designed. All of you, well, take care of this. I'm going to redo it. If you cannot look like this, get out." That kind of thing. So I'll get every other person in trouble. But I realized something was very consistent for me. Every opportunity I had, I just really wanted to express myself. Became easy. And that's like one of the easiest ways to know what you're supposed to do with your life sometimes. When you realize that you're constantly doing something and that thing comes very easy for you. It was just a gift for me, and I wanted to figure out a way to infuse it into whatever I was doing. And so I was still, working. I was in school. I was, designing and everything. At this time, I'd not told my dad, anybody at home, that I wanted to do design because I was afraid. And I think it's because of this mentality. When you don't have knowledge, you make irrational decisions. You make some decisions that would actually, that actually affect your life in a way, and because you don't have enough knowledge. What I did not know, right, at that point in my life was that there were tons of opportunities in design and tech. I didn't know anything about tech. I didn't know anything about design. And so what I thought was, if I pursue design now, will I be one of those persons who are people selling art on the road? These artworks that people sell. Or will I be there's a place called Shomolu in Lagos. Will I be in Shomolu printing business and wedding invitation card or this? That, because that was the only thing I could think about. And even those fields, even people who print, people who do all this, they're doing amazing work. But I didn't have enough information that those things were available, that those things I was able to get into those fields and I can actually make a lot of money from it. And so I was really scared. I didn't know what the future was going to be like for me. And so I just kept doing mass comm. And it was a struggle. Sometimes they would send us for investigative journalism, and they told us to go to the streets and go and do interviews, and we'll go to brutels to ask questions. And I would see my classmates enjoying it. You see them enjoying it. They're taking their notepads and everything. But me, I don't even want to talk to anyone, first of all. I don't even want to be in your face. Second, I don't even want to be anywhere there. I don't even like the idea. I wasn't enjoying it, but I endured. So I think at a point, just for me to be able to cope with the entire experience, I I remember that I started to make illustrations. I'll go to there's this place called, I think it's Art Center or somewhere in Ojuelegba. I'll buy all these art supplies and I would go home. I would make comics on cardboard paper. And when I get to school the next day, I would put it on the notice board. And when students come in the morning, they will look at it and they will laugh. I can just maybe draw a lecturer and just put a speech bubble and just do something. It was always so funny. And for me, I would just watch students, look at those illustrations and laugh. And everybody knew me as a designer. Everybody knew me as Bolanle the designer. All my school notes that were supposed to have mass communication related, subjects, I was drawing and making illustrations. For people knew that was just who I was. And I remember that my first job came via someone in my class. So I think she heard that they needed a designer somewhere, blah blah blah, an illustrator, and then she linked me up, and then I got to do the interview. I was still in them. It was my last year in school, and so I got to do the interview. They said, "Oh, yeah, you're so talented. You know what? Come take this job." So I was still in school when I got my first job, and for me, that was exactly what I needed at that time in my life. It was that validation. It was that help that I needed. Sometimes you're confused. I just want help, direction. You just want to know, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. And that was it for me. And so I got my first job as a comic illustrator. And I would draw comics for this company in Lagos called Afrinoli. And it was so much fun. Imagine doing what you've always wanted to do. And I was making money. And so I wanted to prove to my dad that, see, this design thing, I'm going to pursue it. I went to buy Ampa for him and I delivered it to his house. I said, see, I am earning money now. I'm working as a designer. See, I'm not going to suffer, that kind of thing. And he would say, explain these jobs to me. What is exactly his design? Okay, so you do this. And this is what you want to do. Yeah, this is what I want to do in my life, things like that. And it was such a beautiful experience. And from there, I started learning to use different tools, I started to improve on some of the tools I already knew how to use, like Photoshop. And so I moved from comic illustrations to graphic design. And from graphic design, I moved to branding. So over the years, I learned to use different tools. I learned to use Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe After Effects, Adobe After Effects, Adobe Premiere Pro, different tools, just learning it. How do I infuse tech? How do I learn this? How do I learn this? And so that was my journey basically onto the, yeah, that's basically that's basically like a trajectory, the entire journey really. That is it. I don't know if there's anything else I'm supposed to add, but yes, that was how I got into tech and design.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. One thing
Yeah,
that stood out is consistency. You were just so you were convinced that this is what you wanted and you
yeah.
stayed true to it till it started paying off. So the take home for me or for our audience, I'm speaking on their behalf, is that during this session you should stay put. Don't just give up because things are not paying out. I know people that have learned several skills, and because none is paying off yet, they keep switching, not because they do not like it. Money will come once you've mastered your art. So please, let's keep that somewhere in mind. Okay, my next question here is, during the course of all this graphics design, brand design, have you ever taken a time off, like taking a break? Oh, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I just want to rest.
Yeah, at different points, right? And that's why I'm always of the opinion that when you decide to do what you're passionate about, it's always very easy. It becomes easier to break out of times, overwhelming times, because you already love what you do, and then you're not earning money from it. So there are times that yes, I was tired, I was overwhelmed, but because I'm passionate about design, so even when I'm tired of designing for clients, I'm designing for myself. So for leisure time, I'm designing, and so it was. So I would, when I say it's a break, yeah, I took breaks, but every time I take too much time away from work, I become, I don't know, very restless because I always like to use my mind. I always like to design. So there are times I took break, time off work, but it was just short periods basically, but I was always back as fast as possible, because the way the industry is, the tech industry, you have to constantly push. The trends are moving. You know the way design trends are, tech tools. Before, if you rest too much, before you know it, people are no longer using Photoshop. There isn't that tool. You have to be at the top of the game every time, so you can't rest too much basically, and you have to just keep going. But it doesn't mean that rest is not important. Rest is important, especially in creativity. If you're going to be creating anything, when you have to do it, work that has to do with your creativity, your mind, you need rest too. But don't rest too much that you now, forget to do things you're supposed to do. Yeah, that's what I'll say.
Okay. Yeah, so you should know when you've had enough rest, know where to
Yeah,
strike a balance. Please, sleep
exactly.
is not for the weak, oh, but do not sleep and slumber and be lazy. Yeah.
Exactly.
So the goal of this program is to bring more girls into tech, like to make sure there are more female in tech, in the tech world. So do you mind explaining what opportunities are out there for ladies that decide to break into tech today?
There are tons of opportunities. I can't even start to count. Like there's so many. I run an initiative called the Female Designer Movement, called is also known as Zari, an NGO where we introduce women to tech, and it's always so amazing because we would have trainings in different parts of Nigeria and have women who have never designed before, pick up their first design tool and use it. There are tons of opportunities. We have platforms like She Code Africa. They're training women to be, software developers. We have Ingressive for Good. Ingressive for Good is constantly creating opportunities. We have Cyber Safe Foundation. They are constantly, creating scholarships, giving women the opportunity. All these platforms, all these people, all these women who are championing, such initiatives. And all you need to do is just check online. I always say what I believe is sometimes people spend so much time online, but they're not getting any value. And so it's good to be on social media. It's good to be on Instagram. That way you get to build your personal brand. But you have to also take out time to get value. As get value from social media, get value from from the internet. On Instagram, for instance, follow pages that share opportunities. We have opportunity desk where you can get like tons of opportunities. There you have companies, you have all these international organizations constantly looking for young people that could champion like different areas. And all you need to do is just search, look for She Codes Africa, look for the female designer movement, just check Google, register, join as many programs as possible. The ones you need, the ones you don't need, they are free. Just apply. Apply for them. Get mentors or get mentored by people that you look up to. Don't just stay and say the opportunities will come to me. You have to look for them. That's what makes the difference between you and the next person. Look for the opportunities, apply for them. And because you are young, because you ladies, you are young right now, it means that you have like you have so much time to start to think about these things. So even as you go into the university, even as you do all the things you want to do, take advantage of these opportunities. They are there for you. I didn't know about these opportunities, and I really wish I did, but imagine how far I would have gone. Imagine where I would have been now if I took on these opportunities like a lot at an earlier age. But you have the opportunities now. Take advantage of them. So, like I mentioned before, you have She Code Africa, you have the female designer movement, you have Cyber Safe Foundation, you have Ingressive for Good. There's so many, can't even count. And even Girls into Tech. All these different initiatives. So yes, so check online, use your Instagram well, use LinkedIn, just search opportunities for women, opportunities in tech for this. You'll find many. So please just take advantage of them. But yes, there are tons of opportunities for girls especially.
Thank you so much for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, please use your data very well, not just to scroll through Instagram. Look for opportunities. There are tons of opportunities out there, and I'm sure once you do that, the sky will just be your starting point. So my next question for you, Bolanle, is how is branding and design changing in recent times?
Hmm. I'll say that before to answer that question, I'll just start by saying that we've all heard that when you see a company launch a new logo, new color to say they've changed their branding, they've done this, or someone sends you a bottle with the logos. I like this branding, and one of the things that you realize is um design plays a major role in branding. And before now people would focus on just the design and they want to look very good, but now things are changing. People are beginning to focus on storytelling, building connections with customers, ensuring that the experience is good. People now understand that if you have a nice product, a nice packaging, and someone buys it and then they have a bad experience using that product, they'll never come back. So people are realizing that now, that there is need for building, that authentic relationship with people. And that's why you have different platforms, different organizations, creating initiatives trying to get into the emotions of people, because branding is beyond just the look and feel. It's beyond what it looks like. It's now about how do people perceive this brand. What can we get them to feel when they look at our branding? And so I'll say that branding is changing because there's a lot of storytelling now, especially on social media. People are creating videos, telling their stories, talking about this. I do this, I'm talking. Storytelling is key. And I would say that things are gradually moving. People are beginning to understand the aspect of branding. And that's one of the major changes I've seen really in branding. I can't seem to hear anyone. I don't know if my audio is bad, or can you guys still hear me?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Thank you for
Okay.
that. I said, okay,
Mm,
this is the last question from my end.
okay.
What are the major challenges when it comes to branding and design?
When it comes to branding and design, I personally feel like there's a knowledge gap, right? When people think about design, the first thing they think about is the design tools. how can we get to design these products? How can we get to design this? Forgetting that, there is a place for functionality. And that is a very big aspect of branding and design. Functionality, experience, you know, after you have designed for your clients, after you've designed a brand, what is the experience like? Is it actually functional? I remember that there was a time I bought a furniture from a company in Nigeria, and they delivered it to the house. And when you sit on that chair, your legs is just all over the place. Your legs are not getting to the ground. Everything is just all over. It was just designed poorly, and I realized that it's just a case of not having enough knowledge about what they were actually doing. So when you're designing, the first thing you want to do before you even get into design is understanding why things are designed the way they are. Let me just give you an instance. When I read a particular book about branding and design, and it talked about functionality, and I started asking questions. Why is the door designed the way it is designed? So apparently, when you have a door, and the way the door is, like, you open it in. So if you want, maybe someone knocks on the door, you're not pushing, you're not opening out or something like that. You're opening it in. I realized that the reason why the door is designed that way is so that if there's, I don't know, maybe you mistakenly open the door for the wrong person, and the person is a robber, a person is sort of trying to harm you, it is easier for you to push than to pull. So these are things, and that's why some houses you see Nigerian carpenters will build it up opposite to the other way around, because they don't understand why things are done the way they are. So I'll say that, when it comes to design, branding, people need to understand that it's beyond the leaflets, it's beyond the social media design. There are aspects of design that people can learn, can focus on, and really understand. And this knowledge would, eventually influence how they see design and how they design for customers. Even when you talk about experience, you see someone tweeting rubbish from their business page, forgetting that the tweet has a way of influencing how people feel about that brand, and that can actually influence their buying power. All these things people don't know. The thing that what they believe branding is create Instagram page, have logo, have color, start selling products. But it's beyond that. I always tell small businesses that one of the ways to learn how to expand on your business is by learning from some of these top brands like Google, brands like Facebook. Why are they always consistent? Why did they maintain their blue color? Why did they engage in CSR activities? Why are they constantly pushing their brand? Why are they forcing you to join trends? Why are they constantly building new products? Because everything is intertwined. They're building good experiences. They're thinking about the users. They're thinking about so design knowledge is lacking right now, and I feel like a lot of people have to learn. You know, this. I don't want to geek out on everyone and go too deep into branding, but that's like the major problem I see. That knowledge gap. Really, yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for
Yeah.
sharing that
Yeah.
knowledge gap. And I also learned why doors are built that way. So when you are giving an explanation, I was thinking, oh, we open it in so we don't push if there's a child or someone, so we don't push them away. But you also gave a very different explanation that is easier
Yeah.
to push that. So thanks for that. Thank you for that. So yeah, like she said, knowledge gap. People don't know why they are doing things or why things are done a certain way. We just see
Yeah.
things and we copy. It's good to copy good things, but before you copy, make sure you know why it's
Exactly.
done like that. So yeah,
Yes.
that's all. Let me check if we have one or two questions. Please, if you have any question for um okay. If you have any question for her, can you please just drop it in the comment section while we read it out? So this person is saying, please, can she list out those programs she said we should research for opportunities?
Hmm.
Yeah,
There's a
Bolanle, do you want to answer?
Yes, there's a platform on Instagram called Opportunity Desk, DESK. We have another one called Opportunities for Youth. We have another one called there are different types, different. I don't know everything at the top of my head, but we also have initiatives like Cyber Safe Foundation. We have, and they teach cybersecurity to women. In short, they partnered with the UK government, you know, to train women at my design school, to train about 1,000 women from 14 different African countries, in design. And it was such a massive partnership, and it was so good. So we trained women from different parts of Africa, and it was amazing. So and it was for free. And then we also have We also have Ingressive for Good. Ingressive for Good is constantly partnering with different companies, different people to train women, to train people, to push, on what they are doing, to push on, the narrative and ensuring that more women are trained. We have, I mentioned Ingressive for Good, I mentioned Cyber Safe Foundation. We have, I think there were some I mentioned before. I don't think I can remember them anymore. I think it was about four. And then we have the female designer movement, of course. The initiative that I founded, we train women. It's always like a yearly training where we have like a an online boot. Before it was physical, but now we have like online boot camps for women where we get to introduce them to design. We for this, I think for last year November, what we did was we partnered with top women in the industry, women who teach design, web flow design, graphic design, branding, different aspects of design for free. And so all these things are happening around you. Just search. So I mentioned Ingressive for Good. I mentioned Opportunity Desk. I mentioned Cyber Safe Foundation. I mentioned the Female Designer Movement. And then the last one I was going to, yeah, the one I mentioned before, the last one was She Code Africa. They teach women, to become developers, and you get into the program. They teach you, and so I'm sure there are others that I've not mentioned. So you can always search for them. Once you search on Google, you should be able to find their websites, and yeah. And
All
I was
right.
also going to mention that on my page, I usually share opportunities as well. Sometimes companies partner with us, so we train women for free. So you can follow my Instagram, Bolanle_Banwo. I don't know if I should spell that. Bolanle as in Bolenle, then underscore, then Banwo, Banwo. So you'd find I usually post like opportunities, sponsorships that people bring to our table, and yes, and we plan to do much more this year as well. So yeah, I hope I answered your question.
All right. Thank you so much. Yes, you did. So next question here is, how long can I learn design to land a job?
How long can you learn design to land a job? Hmm. Um, if you so we have design courses because I don't know if I mentioned Geneza School. I run a design school called Geneza School. I know our design courses run for about 2 to 3 months. They are self-paced and you can take your time. So I would say that it takes about, let's say, a month to 2 months. But if you really have like a lot of time on your hands, right, you can finish it. You can finish some of these courses within, I don't know, a couple of maybe 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Now the issue. So the thing is, when you learn design, after learning design, it's not just about learning. It's also about implementing what you've learned, like practicing it. One of the best ways to learn is to ensure that you start to use the knowledge you've gained. It's very easy to forget how to use Photoshop or to forget how to use Illustrator. But when you start to practice, so let's say you learn to design right now, look for your aunties that have businesses in Eko Idumota. Tell them what you want to be. You want to design their flyers. Tell them you want to just do something. Once you're able to create that pathway in your brain, it becomes easier. So design is by practice. You can't. There's no other way. It's just tool based. You have to actually practice, as you learn. So it takes about, let's say, 2 3 months. Once you've done that, you've gained the knowledge. Now it's time for you to implement. Now, design is not something that you can just do overnight. It's something that you have to practice. 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 You have to
Can anyone
practice.
hear me?
Ruth, I think, yeah, I think Bolanle is off for the moment.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, she should probably be
So
rejoining
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, just keep dropping your questions. So when she comes back, she would provide answers to them. We're almost coming to the end of the session, and honestly, we appreciate everyone that stayed with us throughout this session. Yeah, there's a glitch in our network. She's currently not here. To re-emphasize, our Instagram handle is at Bolanle_Banwo. if you look at the screen, you see the spelling of Bolanle and you see the spelling of Banwo. So there's an underscore in between here. So, okay, I think she's back.
Right, all right.
Call came in, so um, I was saying that I don't know where I stopped, but I was saying that design is something that once you've learned, let's say you take a course now, once you start to practice it, whatever you're working on, just start saving them because you can get internship opportunities, right, where they just pay you something and then you learn on the job. So you can start to use your skill a month, 2 months after your training. So yes, you can learn design within 2, 3 months, but you get better over time. I've been designing for over 10 years, and I'm still learning a lot of things, right? So you never stop learning. But yes.
All right, thank you. You just answered the next question. And Tambari was saying, how long has she been in tech?
Okay, I've been designing for over 10 years.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. But yes, I've been designing for over 10 years.
Okay. So, any last key takeaway for our audience?
Okay, I'll say that um, if you're interested in tech, I'm not going to promise that it's going to be easy or that you know exactly what to do every time, but just be very persistent. Be very persistent. Just tell yourself this is what you want to do and just do it. I know it's easier said than done. There are a lot of challenges, but I always tell people that I've met my mentees, I always tell them that I'm able to give this kind of advice because of I know where I'm coming from, I know my experiences. I remember that my first laptop, I bought it at Computer Village, and the battery was always bad because it was a used laptop. Battery was always bad, and I'll still pick it up like that. I'll manage it. When the battery is bad, I'll go and buy another battery. Different things, or is it times when you design a small fly, maybe you design a fly of 5,000 naira, and they'll still owe you again. All the challenges that come with it, but the focus you need to focus on the goal where you're going. There was someone who was leaving, I think she was leaving the east to come to Lagos, and she was telling me, I'm coming to I got a job, but the salary is very small. It's to do maybe UI UX or so, and I don't know if I should take this job. I told her, take the job, because when you take a job like that, and even though they're paying you very little, you might leave you when you leave that job, you leave with your knowledge. They can't take it away from you. Now she works for a foreign company. She's outside Nigeria. She works for a foreign company, and she's really good at her job now because of that one chance. Because she took a chance on herself, and she went through those challenges and she went through those hurdles. But she focused on the goal. So I'll say that if you're interested in design and tech, start today. Pick up a tool. Pick up what is Photoshop. Go to Google. Download Photoshop. Start designing. If it's UI UX you want to do, download Figma. Figma is free. It's web based. Download Figma. Start to use Figma. If you want to code, there are different platforms online that you can use. There's one platform called UXL that you can download. Okay, that one is for UX design. But for UI design, we have at Geneza School, we have UI design courses. We have YouTube. You can even go on YouTube. You can learn design there. But if you want like a curated sort of training, then you can go to like a proper design school. But there are different platforms. Start now. Start something. You're young. Your brain is working really sharp. You're not in your 30s yet. You're not thinking about children. You're not thinking about bills yet. So start thinking about this. Think about your future. When you start now, just give yourself a year, 2 years, and you're able to do so much with the skill. So I'd say just start now. Don't procrastinate. So yeah, that's what I'd
All
like to
right,
say.
thank you so much for that, guys. You've heard
Yeah.
her. She said, "Start now. The best or the right time for you to start." How did they say that? It was yesterday, and the best time is now, or something. Yes. So, yeah, just start right now. So, thank you so much, Bolali. This has been a very inspiring session, and we are really grateful that you honored us. Thank you so much.
You. And thank you so much for the invitation. And I believe that, and I said you guys are doing an amazing job.
Thank,
Thank you for the work you're doing. This is so
thank you,
inspiring.
Bolanle.
And when I saw the girls in tech, I was like, yes, I like programs like this. This is exactly what it should be like. I'm really happy about the next generation of women who are going to be doing amazing things in tech. And this is just the beginning. So I'm really proud of your team and all the work you're doing. Thank you so much for promoting, programs like this, for implementing programs like this. I'm really happy, to be honest, and thank you for the invitation once again.
You're welcome. Thank
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
you're
bye.
welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Well, thank you. All right. All right, guys. Yeah, thank you for joining us so far. Throughout this section, we really appreciate your time. And in the coming week, before Monday, we are going to drop the calendar for the classes, and we're going to drop links to attend the class and all that as well. Um, if you are yet to register for the program, I'm just going to put a link to the registration form. Um, just so everybody can log in and then submit the form, fill the form. Let us know you're interested in the program, and yeah, we're going to be in contact with you. We send you every all the details that you need to be part of the program. So in right. So yeah, so if you check the comment section now, you should see a link to the program, and feel free to log in, register, fill your details, and we're going to be in contact with you. We'll show you the class, the link to the class and everything. So thank you guys. Follow us on Instagram. It is Girls Into Tech on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn as well now. And yeah, we're going to be on every other social media soon as well. So follow us on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and just share your learning journey with us as you learn. And we look forward to seeing you in class. Thank you for your time, guys, and bye. Have a good one. Hi, Ruth. Do you still have anything to share with our audience, or should we call it a day?
No. Yeah. Let's call it a day.
All right.
Bye.
All right, guys. Yeah, it's been a good one. Bye, guys. Have a good one.